made a list instead of using the iPad. I wrote on a notebook this time. So, yeah, I'm not good with live videos, so I'm gonna be saying and so and a lot. So just bear with me. If you're interested in my past, this is what I'm gonna be talking about. I'm gonna be talking about from birth until I don't know, whenever I want to stop really, and just how I'm just talking about old times. There's a lot of suppressed memories in there that I have never shared with anyone at all. So what you're about to hear, well, you're probably gonna be the first one hearing it because I don't have a single friend in my life right now that knows my entire story at all, or my parents. No one knows about this, like my life, my full entire life. So I'm about to just share with some dark, dark past that that's been long gone, buried deep in here. Okay, so I was born in 1992, so that makes me 24 right now. So I grew up in a house, like both of my parents are immigrants from China, and my mom married my dad for the green card. They both came here legally, and my mom just married my dad for the green card here to the U.S., and she only had $5 when she came here. They got two apartment rooms in Chinatown. One was our room, and one was with my grandparents from my dad's side. They had a lot of arguments here and there, but it's whatever, right? So when my parents are working, I was with my grandpa. Um, my dad was a chef, so I never really got to know him. And yeah, he's just always working, and when he is home, like I never really got to talk to him. And my mom was working in a laundromat, and she went to City College to learn English. So that was those are like my earliest memories. So when they were all working, I was with my grandparents waiting for my parents to come home, and then I would go to sleep. Um, let's see. So I don't remember anything from like until kindergarten and stuff, honestly. So I'm gonna start with first grade. In first grade, I was the one of the most athletic kids out there. And when there's a racetrack, right? I was the fastest motherfucker there. Fastest one. First one there, first one back. I was the fastest. I played dodgeball. I was like, a fucking beast. I played Chinese jump rope. Again, crushed that shit. And then I did, what else did I play? Oh, I'm losing my thoughts. Yeah, I was the fastest one, super healthy. I was actually pretty lean, give or take like 60 pounds. I was still in a car seat in first grade. And then my parents signed me up for Chinese school. So in Chinese school, it was in Chinatown, right, like a few blocks away, there was a McDonald's. And remember, at the time we were really poor, we couldn't afford to buy McDonald's at all. So when the other kids had McDonald's, I always freeload off their fries. I'm like, oh, hey, like, can I get a French fry? Can I get a chicken nugget? Can I have a bite of your cheeseburger? It's something I really wanted, but we couldn't afford it. So I always begged and begged for just a Happy Meal. And then one day my grandpa bought me the Happy Meal, and yeah, and it kind of just started from there, really. I kind of link that to happiness now. So when I get really upset, I just think about like a Happy Meal. Not like I eat it, I don't eat it, but if I am sad, I just think of food as an escape. Okay, so moving on to second grade, starting getting a little like, same, still athletic. Actually, I was in swimming too. Swimming, and I did a little kung fu. Um, and yeah, that was second grade. Starting third grade, I started getting a little bit chubby, or so the doctor says. Um, and and looking back, I wasn't even that chubby. I was like, I think maybe I don't know, like 90 pounds or so. But just, they said I was overweight. I'm like, oh my God, right? Like, and then I started developing boobs at that time as well. So we went to buy, like sports bras for me as a third grader. And yeah, that was third grade. Fourth grade, we got a computer at home, Windows 95, and then I started playing Neopets, and that's when we had like internet, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then on the weekends, I would go to my cousin's house and play video games. Typical kid things. My parents always working, didn't get to talk to them. You get bad grades, you get the whip. and you get the stick. Um, yeah, so I didn't really talk to them. I was just hanging out with my grandparents. TV dinners, ramen, McDonald's, chips, Hello Panda, um, Lunchables, just typical kid stuff. I wasn't really overweight. Just to clear things out, I was not overweight at that age. Um, the doctor said I was. My parents said I was. That's it. Like, if coming from a personal trainer's point of view now, I was not overweight. Anyways, so in fifth grade, video games. Got McDonald's again. That's when we had the physical education kind of tests. You had to run a mile, do some sit-ups, some sit and reach things. Um, and I played kickball already. So, and I started playing kickball in second grade. If I didn't mention that, fuck, my head is like all over the place. Yeah, in kickball, I was the best. I was the second one that they choose. Um, like when it's my turn to kick, everyone like runs like across the field, because I'm fucking strong as hell, strongest motherfucker there. And then, okay, so moving on back to fifth grade, we had the mile time, and I was the last one, or one of the last ones. It was like a 16-minute mile. I just didn't like running, and the fact that I'm so competitive, I was the last one. I'm just like, fuck it, I don't want to run. I never liked running, and I still don't like running to this day. But in terms of like the push-ups, the sit-ups, the sit and reach, I was pretty decent. Not the best one, obviously, but not the worst either. So that was like in fifth grade, and also like we had like the scale in front of the classroom, and everyone would step on the scale, and the teacher would tell them how much they weigh. And then, out of all the other people, like I remember my teacher whispering, 108 pounds in my ear. That's not even that bad. Like 108 pounds is not that bad. It's just the fact that like, oh, like, you're overweight, like, feel sorry for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just bullshit. Like, just fucking say that's 108 instead of whispering in my ear. So that made me really embarrassed about my weight and my size, knowing that it's only 5 pounds heavier than the other kids, really. So I remember that to this very moment. And it kind of really angers me that I know that people are trying to be nice, but sometimes when you're trying to be nice, you gotta think of the consequences in there. So anyways, I was in fifth grade. I was starting to actually feel like, I was overweight. I was just telling all these stories that people are ingraining in my head that I'm overweight. So that was fifth grade. So moving on to middle school now. I hung out with the wrong group of people, really. Um, my ex-boyfriend, I started dating at that time. My ex-boyfriend's a drug dealer, and he was in high school. I started drinking. I started taking pills. Um, it was just a really bad cycle for me, and I was just trying to be cool, it was the end thing, like, hang out with gangsters, you're fucking cool. It was not cool at all. Yeah, we'll go into that a little bit more later on, but yeah, I started drinking, I started taking pills. Again, my parents were always working, didn't really get to talk to them, and I was just with my grandparents. I hated, I was pretty good in school still, like, I was pretty good at math, like, always the first one, like, fucking raising their hand, because I'm fucking smart. And then that was, like, when I had my first heartbreak. My first heartbreak was in sixth grade. It was stupid. It was like, spin the bottle. He pecked the girl in the cheek, and I thought it was cheating at the time. So I was really, really crushed. That's cheating. My first relationship, I was cheated. And then I made some more friends, and just moved on with my life. In seventh grade, I had another crush. It was like my first obsessive crush. My first one, like, it was beyond out of control. I'm really embarrassed when I talk about this. Super obsessive. I kind of followed him home. I would take the long way home and then we had school buses. I followed him to his bus stop, and then I would walk all the way home from the Tenderloin to to my house in Chinatown. That was about an hour walk. So I would walk home just to like see him a little bit more. He didn't like me. Let's make that clear. He did not like me. And Yeah, so I had my first heartbreak legitly. That phase lasted, I would say, like a year or so. And then in eighth grade, I was fucking heartbroken. Like I remember crying in my bathroom in Chinatown. So what kind of triggered that was I found out he was going to a dance with some other girl that wasn't even that good looking, but because she was skinnier than me, prettier than me, I'm just like, I was devastated. I was in my bathroom crying for hours, sitting on a milk crate next to the bathtub, just crying my eyes. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. That was like my legit, like really bad heartbreak. Like it's on those days when I want to lift, I kind of dig those memories back up just to push me through. Like I've never really shared this with anyone. Oh shit. Yeah, so that was like my first legit heartbreak. Um, then moving on. Oh shit. Um, let's see, I don't have any notes past fifth grade. Just so we're clear. Everything is just out of my head now. Um, so eighth grade. Whew. Yeah, I didn't. So after that heartbreak, I was just devastated. Like I thought he was the one. I thought we were meant to be, and then we weren't meant to be. Obviously, it was. I didn't know what the fuck was wrong with me. Am I not pretty enough? Am I not like rich enough? I don't know. Just a whole bunch of stuff, really. And then moving on to ninth grade, I got in. I started talking to other people. Started to move on. Made some new friends, cooler friends. To some I still talk to this day. Um, yeah, again, wasn't really fat, but I was starting to get a little bit more insecure about myself and my size. So I bought like overweight, oversized jeans, and at the time it was cool to tie the bottom of your pants to your socks, just like rubber band the bottom of your pants. So I started doing that. I was a little bit more of a tomboy at that time. Um, t-shirts and just kind of baggy jeans, and then had a few relationships. Again, first one was, like the other relationship was fine. There was another relationship with my ex. There's this shit going on in the back. Um, the second one, so I got in a relationship with like a really nice person. I'm still friends with him on Facebook, so I'm not gonna mention his name. After that, after he broke up with me, I I rebounded to another guy right away, thinking that was the answer to solving all my problems. So I went out with him. Turns out he fucked my best friend. That was another heartbreak. I was just like, fuck, like another one in my heart, like just like right after another one, like right. So that was another like tragic thing. I remember I went to her house and I slapped her in the face. And then moving on to sophomore year of high school, I was getting a little bit more, even more overweight now. So like, I would say like 130 pounds. Not too overweight, but starting to get a little bit bigger and bigger, like 140 to 160-ish. I just, my parents were gone. I couldn't talk to them about my heartbreak, because you're not supposed to have a boyfriend until after college. I didn't talk to them about like my heart getting broken. I just dealt with everything by myself. So I used food as an outlet. I started smoking later on and started drinking a little bit more, and yeah, it was all bad. That's what you get when you leave your kids alone and having no one to talk to. Anyway, so moving on to sophomore year. What was it, sophomore year? So sophomore year was like kind of like that's what done it for me. I met this guy, his name was Jerry. We went out, like he was the nicest person I can ever trust. Like the nicest person. Whenever I have a problem, I would talk to him. Like we were like kind of not like, I wouldn't say official, but we were like doing more than what most people do, like more than just friends. And then one day, and then let me talk about my other friends while we're at it. So my other friends, like they were in relationships, and I remember it was, so me and Jerry were talking all the time, and he was like, on AIM, we would just talk about our day and such and such. He was the one, like, person that was there for me, especially after all those times of getting fucking backstabbed in the heart, just, right? So he was the one. And then at the time, I remember one day, it was, oh, I'm about to cry now. I'm really about to cry. It was my friend's birthday, and my other friend, like, she was going through relationship problems, and we were going to her birthday party, eating at a hot pot place, and I got a text from his sister saying, saying he passed away in a car accident. He got in a really bad car crash because of someone drunk driving and hit him. So at that time, oh shit. Okay, so at that time, like, you know, being who I was, I kept that in. Like, I bottled all those emotions in. And, like, you know, my friends didn't care. Like, they had their own shit to deal with. And I was just holding all that emotions back. Like, no one to talk to. My parents didn't even fucking listen. Oh, shit. I'm gonna finish this. Like, I held that in, all that emotion in, for 3 days. 3 fucking days. And then one day on the bus, like, I remember all that emotion just came out. Oh, shit. I'm sorry, I'm not a pussy, I'm over this stuff, but it's a really dark time, and it's hard to, like, dig these emotions back up. Oh, shit, okay, I could do this. Ooh. Anyways, I was on a bus and I was crying, like, really bad. Like, it actually, after holding all that emotions in of having your boyfriend at the time pass away, I exploded. Like, it was like fucking volcano just coming out on the bus. Like, I was, you know, I started tearing up and just thinking about these negative thoughts. Like, how I'm so fucked up in the head. Like, how I can never be like other girls. It was fucking retarded. Like, why is it always me? Like, not having the life that other people have. You know, how come my boyfriend was just someone there for me? Like, he passed away, right? Oh, shit. Like, how I'm so fat. No one will fucking love me, and when they do love me, they fucking pass away. And then, like, you know, just being alone, dealing with all that inside was like, it fucking broke it for me, you know? Like, I went to alcohol for, like, you know, an escape. I drank, fucking popped pills. Like, it was not even funny at all. You know, no one should go through that shit, especially alone at that age. Oh, shit. So I started smoking, started drinking. I even cut myself. Like, if you can see right here, I cut myself. It was like the dumbest shit anyone can ever do. You know, so I got overweight. You know, I started eating a lot more. I gained about, like, I don't know, like 30 pounds that whole year. And it was just all bad. Oh, shit. Oh, that feels pretty good letting it out. Anyways, so that was in sophomore year. Moving on to junior year, again, I was, you know, still dealing with all that alone. You know, I would, instead of talking to my friends, I started blogging on, not Instagram, on Zanga. So at the time it was Zanga. It was just like a journal entry where I just typed all my feelings out, like everything out. And then it was on private. Sometimes, like, my friends would follow me and, like, read it. They didn't say anything much. So I was just typing all that, turning to, like, my Zanga for, you know, as a journal. And then, oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't really talk to anyone about it, so I just typed all my feelings out. Going to senior year, again, still smoking, still drinking, still typing everything out. And I got even more fucked in the head. my best friend at the time, like was so fed up with like me just being depressed, like not talking, crying. Like she was so fed up and she just, I'm like she left. I don't blame her. I would have left too. So I was, having like a friend there. Now she's gone too. And then I just started pushing everything away. Everything. Everyone. Fuck everyone. Like I'm alone. Um, and then so I was started pushing people away, and that was like the dumbest shit ever. So I had food, I had alcohol, I had cigarettes, and I had my computer. That was all I had. And then, and then my parents don't even know about this part of me. They never heard the story from me. Because they're always working, just trying to pay for the house, pay for our apartment, paying for our things, paying for my after school program, and paying for my Chinese school and fucking tutoring. So that was all in before 18. And then by that time I was 200 pounds. That did it. So that was my past. Yeah, I think I'm done crying now. That was pretty therapeutic. So if you stayed through and listened to me bitch, thank you. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna go over how from college to later on. So thank you guys for listening. Bless you guys. I'm gonna end here though, because I don't think I can handle it anymore for today.